Kayleigh McEnany, co-host Outnumbered, and many things. Hey, Kayleigh, good morning to you. We had a poll. A lot of numbers came out last night. Let's just go through them, okay? This relates to the debate, and we asked whether or not it's important to the American people. This is what we found. But Trump and Biden debate, number one, thank you. Extremely important to American voters. If you include RFK, it's kind of split, right? 23, 20, 26, 29. Well, here's what happened in one of those debates back in 2020. Roll it.
He doesn't want
You're a
to answer
senator.
the question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why would you answer that question?
The question is the question is
Justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man. Look, hey, I'm
saying
not
you
going to
didn't
listen to
agree?
him. Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Excuse me, this.
Hey, let me
person.
just say.
Well, apparently the microphones are going to be off when the other person's not talking this time.
Probably a good thing. Look, 64%, according to that poll, very or somewhat want to see, very or extremely want to see a debate. So the Biden administration knew that they needed to debate. The campaign went out there and they cleverly crafted where now they have 2 debates instead of 3 on their terms. Look, the challenge for both of them, for Trump, it's to stick to the issues. He wins on the issues. He has a story to tell. Biden doesn't want to talk about the issues. Look at the timing of this. It is after this case. It is likely right after the immunity decision comes out, which most people think Trump will prevail on. It's in Atlanta, Fulton County indictment. Biden wants to make this all about the legal issues. He wants to distract from the substance in the story. So if Trump can stay on message and not let substance detract from, or style detract from substance, he can very easily win this debate.
That's some great points, too.
It also comes after the New York Times poll, which solidified the thinking across the board that Biden is in denial about the polls. And we also understand from Jackie Heinrich's reporting that Biden's the one who said, I want to debate. And the staff was like, sir, it's like maybe not. But it is happening because, as you know, once the president says, I'm doing it, it happens. So let's pull up call for number 4 about the issues. So this is our poll that shows Biden prevailing a bit on abortion, healthcare, election integrity, tied on energy policy, which I find surprising, but okay. But to your point, Trump's got to focus on the issues. Trump prevailing on foreign policy, crime, economy, and immigration by quite a lot. So if you have that basket of issues that people care about, and we know that Trump wants to stick on the issues if he can,
right.
You should probably win the debate.
If you told me I was winning on abortion and health care, but losing on every single other issue, including all the top issues to voters, I would want to be dealt the second hand of cards. Trump has the right hand of cards in his hand. This microphone situation will likely help him, cutting it off, not talking over the other. And I think we've seen of late, particularly in the last 3 weeks, a particularly message-disciplined candidate in Trump. The stakes are high. The stakes are personal for him, very personal, as he stares down a very perilous legal path should he not win the election. So I think you're going to see a message-disciplined Trump. Biden's counting on Trump 1.0 showing up, incumbent Trump. We know incumbents typically have hard times in the first debate. He's counting on that. I don't think you can count on that.
Well, you have to figure why yesterday they went on offense, and I think we can show from our Fox polling ourselves. We've seen other numbers that are worse. But this is what we found. Among black voters, he's down 7 points from 2020. Among Hispanic voters, just a point. Suburban women down 7 points. Moderates down 8 points. And here's where I think this election is. Really, you can find the truth about how people are feeling about the presidency. Under age 30, he's down 14 points. And it may sound ageist to say it, but young people see him as an older man, and I don't know how more delicately to put that.
Yeah, and young people not only see him for that, but they also see the fact that they can't afford homes. The interest rates are sky high. The housing prices are sky high, and they are facing down huge grocery bills with inflation. I would not underestimate, though, the power of TikTok. Most young people get their news from social media. Biden has a TikTok operation. I was thrilled to see the super PAC for Trump getting out there on TikTok. I think TikTok's not good for society, but you got to use it if you're a candidate. So you can't count on young people. If you want to try to make sure those young people are driven to the polls and aren't just motivated by the issues, make sure you're out on TikTok, on social media, to bring those voters over to your column on Election Day.
What do you think about the idea that the vice presidential debate will be so early in the end of July?
Yeah, in the end of July, there needs to be another debate. I think there needs to be another debate closer to Election Day. I think we'll end up seeing one. It depends how this goes. Look, we could have the first debate and Biden says, whoa, that was brutal. It's time to parse these in. But look, that's a big debate. First time Kamala Harris standing up against someone who needs to bring in suburban women. You saw that's where Biden was doing best in that poll that you mentioned. That VP candidate will have that moment on the debate stage to try to win over suburban women and message perhaps in a way different than Trump, but complementary.
Just one last point. I know Trump's been saying anytime, anywhere, you call it, you name it. They have an empty lectern, I think, at the stage at a lot of his rallies. I think Trump jumped the gun. I think he went too fast before he could negotiate the qualifications for the debate itself. I mean, there's a real... See, what Trump wants is Biden to walk in, everybody to look and say, oh, my.
Yeah.
There's a real good chance they're sitting at a table. And the camera comes up, and they're already in position. And that moment will be gone.
There will be no crowd. There will be no energy. And you will be sitting before a moderator who called the Trump presidency a nightmare. So this is definitely home territory for Joe Biden, in my opinion. Trump can compensate for that, but it will be a very different dynamic. And the curse of heightened expectations for Trump and low expectations for Biden, you want to try to reverse that ahead of 6 weeks from
That's why Greg Gutfeld last night on the 5 said, Biden's an amazing debater, and he's going to be amazing. He's going to do so well in this debate.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to put
Thanks,
it.
Kayleigh. See you at noon. Okay, thanks for coming in.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.